nil outside if you can isolate from each other and stand apart. And that is science, guys. That is verifiable science. But there's a lot of people that once they started like instituting the mask, they just feel like, okay, now everybody needs to wear it at all times, even outside. And I'm like, if you want to do that, it's okay. But let me just tell you, after you wear a mask for 10 hours straight, and this is no cheating, like wearing it above your nose at all times, like you're not taking it off to drink water. Like I actually had learned like how Saudi women, which was kind of invaluable for me. This is such the weirdest tip, but they would like lift their veil to drink water underneath. Like I can do that with a mask. And people are like, you don't take your mask off all the way to drink water. And I'm like, no, I can lift it and drink underneath. Like, I don't know. I'm able to do that. Like I figured out how to do that, but everybody else like takes it off all the way. And I'm like, okay, so it's okay for them to take it off as much as they want to eat and drink, but we need to have it on at all times. So yeah, people question these things. So like, yeah, it's not about being a rule breaker, because I've always been like kind of the type of like, I'm not saying I'm 100% worker bee in this case, but I follow the rules. Like I do follow the rules. I'm not one of those people that's going to go to Costco and throw a tizzy fit because I have to wear a mask and, and huff and puff. Like I follow the rules. Okay. But after like a long period of time wearing the mask, you do get a headache. You feel like the teapot of fire. I know some people are like, oh, no, you don't. But they're not like going back and forth doing things, like retrieving things. And it's just like there's certain things about it that aren't enjoyable. And I don't feel like I can be myself wearing it. And people keep saying that's not true. You can still be yourself and wear it. And I'm like, no, it doesn't feel that way. So like when I don't know, these are just my opinions on it. It's not a popular topic, so I try not to talk about it, but it's so weird that we're not allowed to say it, because there's people that are okay, this is my opinion. Okay, you can take it and leave it. There are people that are very pro mask, that people think people should wear a mask like at all times outside, no matter what. But it's like it's okay for them to say that they don't like the mask, but if a so-called anti-masker says it and like they're bad, I don't know. I'm just sick of this whole divide, this whole argument, this like way of used to divide people, and it's really not healthy. And maybe some people just don't want to live in a future where people wear a mask all the time. And if you start reading some studies, and these are mainstream studies, by the way, a lot of kids are kind of like having developmental delays due to masking because they can't read facial cues. It makes communication harder. I can say that. You can't hear people as well. People that have any kind of hearing impediment, they want you to take off your mask to talk to them. But the whole point of the mask is it's supposed to like block. So I talk about this a lot. Maybe I talk about it more than hair, but it's just something that's on my mind. Like I'm just thinking about it. But anyhow, I don't know. Like this is my thing. When they tell you this is just something temporary, we're just doing this for a little bit. No change is going to be temporary, because once you get people conditioned to like wanting to do something, they're going to want to keep doing it. They're not going to be like, yeah, we don't have to do it anymore. There's always, so to be honest with you, that's just the way it goes. Like once you implement something, it's not going to go away. So I don't have any of the answers about the current state of affairs, but I do think, yeah, like to me, I don't think big gatherings of any kind are safe. That's just my opinion. And you could wear a mask or not wear a mask at those events, and I still don't think it's safe. I feel like it's just like you work and you come home, and maybe there's a few people outside of work that you see, but it's a very limited group of people, and they don't really see other people too. And that's what's helped me not get it. And I know a lot of people are like, but that's like so strict. You're so strict. Like, why? But I'm like, you know what? That's actually what I'm doing. So, and I hope against hope, like that will keep me healthy. But I think that's kind of what you have to do. I think you have to kind of limit your social interactions with people, because in this new era, that's just kind of, if you want to remain healthy and you don't really want to expose people or expose yourself, we all need to work. But outside of work, I can't really think of a lot of social events. And then I kind of think about this too. Like, it's just kind of my personality. I always was just more of a one-on-one kind of person. I was never big into like social groups and stuff. So for me, I guess this works. Like, I love having friends and talking with people, but I'm not like one of these people like, oh my gosh, I need to join a church group, or oh my gosh, I need to join this political organization. Like, I don't know. I did that in the past and I didn't like it, because this is my take on groups. There's always like dominant personalities in a group. And if you're more like reserved, I feel like the dominant personalities in a group, they always get to decide like what the group dynamic is. And I would always feel like I didn't feel like groups were for me. So like, I just want a smaller circle. Like, if I feel like online is the safest way you can interact with people, really. Kind of my opinion. Like, so anyway, that's just what I've decided to do. So I will see my sister, and there's another friend to see occasionally, but I've kind of just limited and like kept it smaller. And I never had like a big socializing group anyway. So that's just my take, you know. But some people really miss socializing, and if they have a chance to socialize wearing a mask, rather than just do something like one-on-one with someone not wearing a mask, they're going to pick the social event with the mask. But I still think that's risky. And some people who have done that still got it, you know. But I don't know. I don't have the answers. I really don't. It's just, I don't, I'm going to be honest. Like, I don't think this is going away. People keep saying, oh, this is going to end soon. This is going to end soon. And it's not me being negative. It's just being realistic. Like, if you look at other like types of pandemics, the history of that, it doesn't dissipate overnight. Like, there's always going to be a new variant. That's the history and science of these things. And once people start wearing masks, it's not going to go away. So yeah, I get why some people feel sad about it. I know some people are like, well, it's no big deal. I enjoy it. I like it. But you're not everybody else, right? Like, I don't know. But anyway, that's just my only take on it. Everybody's just so, like, they want to just embrace it, say it's a good thing. It's going to, but on the other end of the spectrum, I don't agree with these people either. I don't agree with the reckless people who just go out and they don't really care if they get any variant. Like, it's very risky. Very, very risky, guys. Yeah, it doesn't make you want to ever, like, it doesn't make you feel like, gee, I ever would want to go to a social event again. That's my take on the whole thing. You know, the whole thing, really. Traveling, probably not. Like, maybe travel within the states, but not like travel abroad, which would have seemed like fun things before. But I don't know. I just feel like it's too risky going through airports. And yeah, like, that's how my thinking about this has evolved. Like, it just makes me think, well, I don't know. But I'm also surrounded by a lot of people that have taken on that kind of thinking. So maybe I've kind of just absorbed it through osmosis, you know? Just my take on it. But anyway. Yeah, I like being able to see people's facial expressions and smiling. And I think it's beautiful. I like to see people's smiles, and I don't feel like wearing a mask allows me to express my personality. I find myself waving a lot and making big hand gestures. Like, and other people are like, oh, I'm just not going to bother. But I feel like I kind of have to do that if I still want to have some, because really, like, smiling was a big part of my personality, you know? And when you are told like you can never show your smile again, it makes you feel like, I don't feel like I can be completely myself, you know? I just don't. But that's my real truth. And I think that people who don't like to smile and who are okay covering their face shouldn't assume everybody else is okay with it, because they're kind of projecting their worldview on the others. And that's where I feel like it's not fair. Like, it's not that I want to break the rules. I'm just thinking you guys don't take in consideration how others think. That's all. And oh gosh, why am I talking about this topic? I feel like it's just like I always end up talking about the P topic. And yeah. Anyhow, I think what it is just people are really sad right now because, and this is also my thought too, like we can shut down a lot of public meeting spaces because I realized this about like the Omicron thing. Yeah, they don't like it when you say these words, but I don't even care because I'm going to talk about what I want to talk about in a video like this. It's a live stream, whatever. I'll make edited videos and I'll talk less. But in these videos, I kind of like want to think, like express my opinions. So I'm going to go get my coffee. I'll be right back. So my opinion is on this whole thing is that I don't know. I don't think things are going to become better overnight. It's just they don't want to give people a sense of foreboding. But once there's a virus, and it's not going to be eradicated overnight. I mean, there are things we can do to lessen the spread, but I feel like they should have been more upfront with people a couple of years ago and said, this could go on for a long time. And it turned out I was right about that because that was my inclination. That was just my thinking about it is like, look at the history of what happened with, I don't know, the Black Plague and other things. It can go on for a very long time. It's not going to just go away overnight. But we live in an instantaneous society where people, they want things to go away overnight. And when you tell somebody, no, things can't go away overnight, like it takes time for things to evolve, like they're kind of bewildered by that. Also, too, we've been very lucky in our society, if you look at history, because up until the 20th century, every different generation had to deal with different viruses and different pathogens, and human life was much more precarious until the 20th century. So we lived in a golden age, really, where we weren't touched by things that our previous generations were touched by. Because, okay, this is where it gets into genealogy. So I love genealogy, and I look at genealogy, and there are definitely people that live to be 100. Like I have some people in my background on my family side that live to be 100, but they went through a lot of hard times in reaching the age of 100. It wasn't all like, it wasn't smooth sailing. Like one of the ladies that I think my 8th great grandmother, she did live to be 100. She was born in the Netherlands. Like my lineage tends to be Syrian Lebanese on my dad's side, some English on his side, English, and then some German, Dutch, and French, like Western European. So anyway, she immigrated from the Netherlands, I think in the early 1700s, and she had many children, and quite a few of them passed away from pathogens. It was a very hard life. When you look at the stories of our forebears, people did not have it easy. Life expectancy was lower because, yes, you would have people that lived to be octogenarians, but the general population did not always live beyond the age of 40. In fact, the age of 40 in the 1800s was considered old at that time. And now it's just considered middle age because that's the middle of life expectancy. So it's changed, but we were living in a golden age. I don't think people realize how lucky we had been, like all the advances of technology we had made and just how health had improved. Like we have been so lucky. We have lived a very charmed life, really. So I think that's why these changes have just shocked us, because we've never had to go through things that our ancestors had to go through. And it was the first time in like over 100 years when there was a pandemic that could like actually threaten human life. Or if you live, I know people are like, but the percentage rate of people who survive it is so high, like 90, like they would quote like 99%. But do you want to be that 0.8% that might perish from it? And then even if you survive, there's people with that have really bad side effects from it. So I just think It's just really horrible. And it's not like I don't want to risk getting that. Like, and I know some people are like, well, I'm okay, I got it, but you don't know. Like, okay, you got it this time. What if you contract it again, like another variant? Are you going to be okay next time? I just feel like it's so risky. Like, it kind of just changes how you feel about life. And I'm not antisocial. I love talking to people. Everybody has to work and leave the house in some capacity, but it really makes me think the people that weren't into socializing and were kind of obsessed with germs, like they would kind of be a little George Washington because he didn't want to shake people's hands. Well, maybe there was a reason, because think about it. People touch everything, and especially in the late 1700s, washing hands wasn't really high on people's hygiene list, okay? So maybe he had a reason. So anyway, it's just interesting when you look at history and you think about how these things go over time. Yeah, I think when you kind of watch the evolution of all these issues, no wonder we have had the reaction we had to things. But I'm at the point I don't like the politicalization of things, and I don't like how everybody like has to debate with each other or in friendships over people's viewpoint on things. It's kind of hurtful, I think, in a way. And I'm not saying like that. I see a lot of like hurtful behavior on both sides of the spectrum. I really do. And I just, it doesn't jive with me. And I'm kind of more introverted. Like, I like people, but more on a one on one basis. I don't like group dynamics. It just makes me think, gee, I don't want to participate in group socializing, and just like when people do on the internet too, and they kind of get that pack mentality. I'm just like, no. And at the end of the day, I'm just thinking pre 2020, we lived such a charmed life and we were lucky in so many ways. And maybe it should make us realize we should have been more grateful for things that we had, and nothing is instantaneous. And I think our instantaneous society wants a cure now, and that would be great, but it isn't realistic. It really isn't. And even if you do get vaccinated, it's to help you from like succumbing to the worst side effects of the virus. It's not like, oh, you're 100% okay. Like some people really thought that before Omicron. Oh, I'm vaccinated now. I can just like go to any event I want. I'm like, I'm not gonna get it. I'm just like, no, that's not. So I'm not okay. This is where it's very controversial. I, for myself personally, have decided I am pro vaccination for myself because I don't know. I've always been vaccinated. I'm not anti vaccinations, even though I live a very more natural kind of life. Like, I don't believe in taking a lot of like medications and drugs, and I believe food be thine medicine. That's my standpoint. But I still go to the doctor, and I've always got my vaccinations. Like, that's never been like an issue for me. Like, but I don't know, like when it came to the mandates, like I wasn't sure, like, do I feel comfortable with it being mandated? Although, on the other hand, if an employer wants to mandate you that you're vaccinated, I don't really have a problem with that because, schools have mandated certain vaccinations for years, but there's a lot of, but that doesn't mean that I feel people should have to be vaccinated. Like, I don't think it should be a requirement, like, for just anybody living in society, because some people have true qualms about it, but that's not me. I'm not in that camp. So it's a very tricky issue, and people are very certain about their opinion on this issue, like on both sides of the divide, and nobody can talk to anybody. And I'm just like, I'm so tired of it. But these are the only conversations that people have all day long. All they talk about is oh, this, and I'm like, I'm kind of bored with it. I'm just like, no, I'm done. I don't care about this, and this. Like, it's getting boring, friends. It's getting boring pretty quick. Let's see. Oh. Here I am. I'm combing out my hair. It was really windy yesterday, so I kept my hair in a braid all afternoon. I'm combing out my hair. It was really windy yesterday, so yeah. So anyhow, I left my hair in a braid all day and night, but it's time to comb it out. Okay, so now I think I'm gonna braid my hair. That's my plan, Stan. I'm gonna braid my hair. I need some water to wet down my hair as I braid. I have these cute little bowls that you can use for like dipping sauces and stuff, but they also are good for like wetting down your hair when you braid it. Another fun thing you could do with them, like you just put them in the dishwasher after you use them for, braiding your hair. I feel like though, if I'm gonna part my hair, I kind of need to see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna put on my glasses momentarily. I cannot wear my glasses when I'm combing my hair because then I can't see. I can't see at all. I mean, I can't wear them when I'm combing my hair because it hits into the sides of them and whatnot. So then I want to go check it maybe in the mirror to see if it's okay. I probably could have tried to divide it better. I'm gonna go look real quick. Okay, so I'm gonna need to keep working on combing it and getting the part I want in the back. Oh, I'm not happy. I'm not happy yet. So let's see. Hi. I'm gonna comb it a bit more. I should go look and see if I'm happy with it in the back now. okay. I'll just go with it for tonight, day, whatever. It's okay. It's not my favorite parting, but it's adequate. It'll do. It'll do. Hola, and hi to everybody. It will do. It will do. It will do. It will do. I'm gonna go check it in the back and see. I'll probably leave it as is because whatever. It's suitable, but probably could move it out more. I guess it's suitable enough. It's suitable enough, mister. It's suitable enough. So my hair was windy from the wind. I left it in a braid all day and night. Now I'm combing it out. That's my whole plan, Stan. Do you have a plan, Stan? Or a plan, Sally? Or a plan, Al? I feel like my hands are feeling too dry, so I have my UV lotion. I'll put some lotion on my hands. That's the thing about Pyrex. You should never get on your skin. You're always supposed to use gloves to um, use it, but we were using it at work to sanitize surfaces, and I wasn't wearing gloves for a while, so it starts making your hands feel dry. So to combat that, now I'm having to put so much lotion on my hands. But yeah, you don't ever want to get Pyrex on your hands. So wear gloves, buddies. Wear gloves. Or just wash your hands a lot, but you still have to like wipe down the surfaces. That's the part where it's like at home I just use vinegar. I'm just like vinegar is good enough for me. I love vinegar. I love to clean with vinegar. And yeah, that's what I use when I'm at home. But the adventures with Pyrex, it's not good. Are they at the same height? Like this one could be higher, but let's just put the scrunchie in and see. Maybe I should go look in the mirror. Be right back, friends. Are you happy though? I wore a white top today because years ago people would say, "Don't wear black when you do a hair video because we can't see your hair because it's so dark, and with black it blends in." So I'm like, okay. I'll wear a lighter color. That's kind of what you have to do. Like if you have lighter hair and you do a hair video, black works good. But I have a lot of black clothes. I like colorful items, but I have a lot of black clothes, and I can't help that sometimes I think black clothes look really nice. So am I not supposed to wear the item just because I happen to be wearing that and that's the day I did a hair video? I'm just like, okay, okay, guys. I don't know. Okay. Well, somebody liked to see my hair in pigtails, so let's show them this before we braid it. See, I'm wearing pigtails today. Are you happy? You happy? Do you like the pigtails? Do you like the pigtails? Okay. Do. Yeah, recently I did tell people, oh, I'm not a hair model. Well, I have nothing against hair modeling. It's great. I'm just not a hair model because people would say, why don't you do that way? And I'm like, well, I kind of just do hair however I want. I don't really have a modeling personality. So like the ladies that are very good at hair modeling, I'm like, they definitely can do that. But there's still that funny thing. I think I talked about on Instagram where there's that page that says there are hair models around the world, and they wanted to share my some of my photos, which seemed cool, but then the next day they deleted it. I was like, okay, that's interesting. I don't know. Like you guys made such a big deal about wanting to share it. I don't know. So I just asked the lady, I told her, I'm generally confused, like, because I think it's a woman that runs the page. I mean, I thought it was a guy at first, but it's a woman. I said, I'm just kind of confused. I think I told this story before because you made such a big deal about saying you liked this photo and you wanted to share it. And then the next day it was deleted. And you know how I knew? Because I had been getting a lot of comments on it, like whatever they shared that day. And then the next day it was gone. I was like, okay, that's confusing, but I don't know. But this is the funny thing about them. It goes into that thing like a lot about the fake businesses. Well, I'm not saying that they're a fake business. I guess they're a real one. But this is the part where it's kind of misrepresentation because they'll say that they have all these women modeling with them, but not all those women are modeling with them. Like a few of them are. But a lot of the people they show on their page, they're just people from around the world that have no connection to them. I assume most people that are savvy know these things. I assume, but a lot of people don't. They're going to see and say, oh my gosh, they have so many models. And they didn't pay me to model with them. And I'm like, okay, so you didn't pay me. I don't know. I don't mind if other people share my picture as long as they give me credit, I guess. But then again, I'm just like, yeah, I want to update my hair blog more. No, I don't. Because look, this was the only reason I was posting things there because I wanted to like bring attention to my YouTube page or to my blog on the hair topic. And yeah, it doesn't really seem to do that. People just stay on there all day. They don't really click through. I mean, some people do, but not enough that. So I'll still post things there, but if you notice, it's very sporadic lately because I'm just like, yeah, that's how I feel about it. Yeah. I need to go look at something because it feels like something's caught. Okay, I came back. I just decided to redo it where I can see better in the mirror. So yeah, this is just kind of an extended hair thing. It's not like I'm just playing around with my hair, guys. That's all I'm doing here today. I don't even have a big topic for you. I wish I did. I wish I had like a big topic. I mean, if there's something you want to talk about, you can. I see that we got a spam link already. So fun. Bye, spammer. They always have some link to some questionable site. You guys are so funny. Nobody's interested in it. Like if we really wanted that site, we'd be going there. I don't think there's anybody that's on YouTube and then they see some spammer post a link to like one of those sites and they're like, oh my God, I know what's been missing my entire life is porn or Forex spam or whatever spam they're promoting. And then they have to go click on it. There's nobody. It doesn't work, guys. It's just like with the WordPress spam. Like, who on earth falls for that? Like, who does that help? Because I don't think those shady businesses, like, there'll be these weird businesses that would, like, just spam link. Like, because I've done blogs for years, like, over a decade, really. And they would just drop their little spam links, like, in my, I don't know, on my page, and I would have to delete them. And I'm like, and they would be so aggressive about it. I'm like, I don't know, like who. And then you would go look at this like spammy site that they were linking to, and I'm like, who is gonna go there? I don't know. I don't think there's anybody that's like, oh my gosh, I need that in my life. More spammy spam, and it's always like windows cleaners or some sort of like marijuana or porn or just it's weird stuff, man. Nobody wants it. And if they want any of that, they're gonna go to some mainstream site, not your little unknown site that looks like it's a splash page. But please explain to me like what you thought you were doing. It's just a bot. I think they're robots. I don't know. Like when I braid my hair, sometimes I can stretch and I can like I don't know. It's a good time to like just stretch, get your legs kind of moving around, your feet, and do all sorts of stuff. You can watch shows when you do your hair. Like if I'm not doing a live stream ever and I'm just doing my hair, I'll watch a show. It's a great time to catch up on. Like if you do want to watch shows, I don't know, it's a great time for all that stuff. All that wonderful stuff that you have fallen behind on. You can do while you're braiding your hair. And today, my friends, we're trying something slightly different than what I've ever tried previously. Like I've done the braid, three braids in a braid. I love three braids in a braid, but I've never done twin braids with three braids in a braid. And I'm doing it today. It's more time consuming than anything else because it takes time to make these braids. Like when I do three braids in a braid, it takes time to make the braids more than anything else. But I kind of like doing it. It's kind of fun. Like when I was a kid, I used to do a whole bunch of braids in my hair and then take them out and have like my hair is wavy to begin with, but this would just make my hair like super wavy curly. And it was just fun. Like it was actually something that so I really wanted to crimp my hair, but my mom actually, she always knew this, like when we were younger. She's like, no, like heat will damage your hair. And she never had like mega super long hair, but she had like mid back length hair, and she was just into natural hair care. Actually, funny story, my mom, when she was still working, an older lady with very styled hair and wearing pearls, like told her she was a hippie because her hair was mid parted with bangs. And it's like, I don't know, she had cut it at that point. It was probably like to here. And the lady's like, what are you, a hippie or something? Like, you have long hair. And her hair was never even as long as mine. But, even that was just like, oh my gosh. Like, some people would be like, you have long hair? Like, oh my gosh. Like, I don't know. That was just kind of my experiences growing up, because a lot of women were like, if you can put your hair in a ponytail, it's too long. People literally said that to me. If you can put your hair in a ponytail, you know it's getting too long. Time to get to the hairdresser and get a really short haircut. And this one lady was saying, like, she said, what did she say? Like, because I used to be a substitute teacher, and she said, oh, like, I just thought this was kind of weird. Like, she goes, oh, the Hispanic students, like the boys, they would be upset if I cut my hair because they like long hair. And I'm like, okay, like, what was the point of saying that? Like, they liked your hair long. Big deal. I don't know. But it was just the thought that, I don't care if women want to have short hair. That's fine. But that was kind of the pressure I had in my own life, is a lot of women came back to me and they'd be like, why do you want to have long hair? It's not stylish. It's not trendy enough. You need to cut your hair to be trendy. Trendy people and fashionable people don't have long hair. They have short haircuts. That's why I found it so funny now that like the whole hair extension industry is so big, because like back in the day it was all about like, we need to cut our hair and have it in all these styles and do all these different things with our hair to be stylish. But that's just one form of style, and I never subscribed to that sort of thinking before the age of 20. Like, okay, so my experience was like social pressure when I went to college, and I don't know why I kind of changed in this regard, that I thought I needed to cut my hair, try the more trendy hairstyles, like, the more fit in, like with everybody else kind of thing. Because I had a couple of college friends saying, yeah, it's so cool if you wear this. Like, why do you wear dresses? Why do you dress up? Why do you dress up, Julia? And I'm like, I don't even think the way I dress is really dressing up. Like, I just like to dress in a way that makes me feel happy. It's not really dressing up. But thinking on this has evolved. Like, now I would say women are much more supportive of you if you want to have long hair. But there's just was a time period, like, I would say in the last couple of decades, where it wasn't always that case, where having long hair just really bothered other women. And I know men can be judgmental about how women style their hair, but this was just my experience. And this is why I started making videos on the long hair topic, because one day I had some women, okay, one woman was actually very supportive of me having long hair. It was mid back length at the time. When I was beginning to grow my hair back out. And I actually wore it loose that one day. And she was saying, oh, it's so pretty. And then all she said, it was very innocuous. She just said, having long hair would keep you warm because it's kind of cold outside today and it's kind of like a blanket. And this other woman said, oh, long hair is a hazard. Nobody should have long hair. And that's her opinion. But she had to project that onto me. And I think another reason too, maybe I was subjected to these kind of things, is even though I talk to people and I'm nice, I'm kind of a quieter person. I don't have a dominant personality in group dynamics or even in some friendships. And like some friends would be like, oh, you need to do this. And I have found over time as I get older, I'm finding friends that are much more supportive of just like how I want to be. But I can see why some women just feel like, oh, gee, like these more assertive type women are telling me that I need to do this and that. I'm just like, if you're an assertive woman that tells other women that they need to do things, please stop doing it. Because I think this is what I think. People should support each other. We're not all in competition with each other. I hate that mentality. Like people who think it's a competition and we all need to one up each other. Like, just support people and let them be themselves. So that's why I actually started making long hair videos. It wasn't even the kind like where I'm flipping my hair or anything like that. It was just me back in 2013 on my old channel, like talking about like long hair experiences. And then I made like kind of a sort of edited one that was just long hair. And it was back when you had the YouTube editor. I would say that was 2016. And it actually got a lot of views. And somebody that was a subscriber to my channel, because my channel was mostly arts, crafts, and I talked about vegan food. I still do, because I'm vegan, by the way. Yes, I know I'm vegan, and my hair grows. And people think that if you don't eat meat, all your hair will fall out or something. That was definitely not my experience. But I think if you undereat, yeah, and you don't supplement, yeah, that could be your experience. But if you're careful and you eat healthy, it shouldn't be your experience. Like, you shouldn't be losing all your hair like on a plant-based diet. If that's happening, you're probably under eating, not eating the right micronutrients. So to me, I don't claim to be like a nutritionist. I'm not. Like, seek out nutritionists. But you can be plant-based and vegan. But this is the difference between me. I don't really identify with the vegan community either, because they can be very judgmental towards people. And I get it. Like, look, I have friends, they don't ever want to be vegan or vegetarian. They want to eat meat. They want to eat steak. That's not my life. Like, I grew up never eating a steak. Not once in my life. I have never ate steak, okay? Not once in my entire life. And people are like, what? You've never had steak? And I'm like, no, I've never had steak. I've never ate a real hamburger. Like, growing up, my mom wanted me to be vegetarian. Like, that was what she wanted. And one time we went to the pizza place and I wanted to get pepperoni on one half of the pizza. And she's like, I don't want pepperoni on it because it's animal flesh. And I'm like, to me, that used to make me feel like, oh, mom, like, why are you so strict about this? But it's so funny. Like, as I grew up, like, I did eat chicken sometimes, but I never really was happy eating chicken. Like, I never really liked it that much, and I could go weeks without eating it. And one day, just at work, like, I remember my like late 20s, it was a breakfast lunch at work. There were all these meaty options, like it was beef and like egg sandwiches and all that stuff. And I was like, I don't know, what am I going to eat? So I just got a lot of fruit, and I was just eating the fruit for breakfast, like the strawberries. Speaking of strawberries, oh my gosh, I have to show you something. This is so random. I'm so rando. But yesterday I went to the 99-cent store, and I found the most amazing strawberries, and they actually taste good. Like, usually strawberries aren't very good, but these were actually sweet. Like, these strawberries were actually sweet. I think it's because it's getting closer to strawberry season here. These were actually really good strawberries. Strawberries are such a palate cleanser. So good. Anyway, and it made me want to get strawberries again because I haven't for a while. Because lately, if strawberries are out of season, they have they just taste watery. But these were sweet, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is what a strawberry is supposed to taste like. That's why I do try to buy organic strawberries when possible. But homegrown is always better. Homegrown produce makes you just like those little homegrown apples off my mom's tree. Unfortunately, there weren't that many this year. They're little and they're just kind of more tart, but they're so good. And then she has these yellow delicious ones. My mom has an apricot tree, and they have a peach tree. And just the fruit off their trees is so good. It is so, so good. Like, anytime you can eat homegrown fruit, it's so delicious and you get so excited. But these strawberries were actually really good. Actually, my mom had a strawberry vine. Now, I tried to grow things in this little container garden world, but it's just never the same. I need to keep working on this section. It's just like curling up into each other's. I need to look and see what it's doing because I feel like it's just getting so curled into itself. It's being kind of persnickety. Because I want it to be smooth on top, and I'm just like, yeah. And I'm just chatting, right? Being a chatter being. Also, too, like I said, my hair was in the wind. I think from now on, I have to wear a hat if it's windy like that. And I made the mistake of just having my hair in a braid and walking into the wind. And yeah, by the time I got to work, I had walked into the wind, like literally. It was quite windy. It's as smooth as I want it. Like if I want to do these little braids, I want them very smooth at the top. The hair is curling into itself. So they always say curly hair is easier to braid, or wavy hair is easier to braid. Sometimes it curls into itself, and then if you want it smooth, you have to go back down, back through. I kind of want to take a look at it just to see what it's doing. I'm just trying to keep it as smooth as possible so that when I braid the three braids together, like they behave themselves, you know? These are kind of tinier braids though. A lot of braids. Arms are starting to get tired, buddies. Back when my hair was super long, my arms got really tired sometimes. Okay, so I think I'll do this. I do have to say, my hair, it usually feels pretty smooth, but lately it's feeling like smoother than usual. I wonder if it's because I put that tea tree oil on my scalp. Like, I didn't film this because I don't know. I was like, people are going to think I'm a wacky woodle. Although people said it smelled really good and I smelled like a tea tree. But yeah, like the week before, like I washed my hair for the couple days before I washed it. I bought this tea tree oil at Sprouts and I was just like putting it into my roots. And like sometimes when I took a shower, like the shower hit my hair, and then I comb it out afterwards. Like I kind of rinse it my scalp every day when I'm taking a shower, and then I don't know. It was so aromatic, and somebody's like, I smell tea tree oil, and I'm like, oh, that's me. I am the tea tree. Oh my god, we got like three spam bots. Why have one spam bot when you could have three? can. They delete real comments, but YouTube cannot figure out the spam bot issue. Really, guys? I'm like, I think you should be able to figure it out. Like, if somebody starts posting one of those weird links, like, can't YouTube just figure out a way to block it? I mean, and it's not to hate on YouTube, but here's another thing. Some of my videos have been rated for adult audiences only, and there's no nudity. I'm not doing anything like explicit, but somebody at YouTube just said certain videos are considered, you have to log in and see. And I've seen this happen to some other like hair channels, but there's a reason this bothers me, okay? Have you seen the video Hot Girl Summer? Okay. There's a lot of actually, like with Nicki Minaj, like adult behavior in that video with people wearing very little clothing. And I don't really care like that they're doing that in the video, but that you don't have to log in to see that. And that's okay. Like a lot of mainstream videos having that kind of thing. But a hair video, like there was one a couple of years ago where same thing, like I was walking with my hair outside near roses, okay? And I was like, oh, okay, guys, I think this is not adult content. I think you can calm down a bit. Like really, it's just a hair video. I like to show hair and show the beauty of hair. Do I shampoo my hair often? Okay, so it's kind of changed. Like before I cut my hair really short, not short. This is not short. It's like hip length, but it just seems short compared to what it was. It used to be like calf length, like upper calf length, because I got a tangle due to a bad henna treatment. Look, I still like henna, but I'm very cautious. If I did kind of do a little bit of henna since then, but it was just henna and coconut milk. I think if you do henna, you need to be very cautious and not like wind it up on your head, because all the tutorials show people putting henna on top of their head, and you need to be really careful, guys. If you mix it, I think you just stand in the shower with your hair loose for like an hour and you just let it develop, and you're bored out of your gourd. But yeah, I don't think piling your hair with henna on top of it is a good idea. Like just my opinion, because that's what caused that tangle. But it was also because I mixed it with conditioner, and I should have known better. I'm like, why did I do that? But yeah, like, and then I ended up getting like a really bad tangle in my hair that I could not get out. I could not get it out. And it was just one section of my hair, but I really don't want to go through that again. I don't want to like intentionally put tangles into my hair. So I'm not saying I'll never do henna again. Like I kind of did modified henna. So before I cut my hair, I had been up to like once a month washing my hair, but here's what I do. I let the water hit my roots every day in the shower. So you can still like get water in your roots and like kind of rinse out your roots. So I'm all about rinsing my roots, but not washing my entire head. If that makes any sense, like you can, when you're in the shower, you can like let the water hit your roots. And also too, like when I comb out my hair and stuff, I will like, smooth it down with some water. So I'm not afraid. Like I think and I was able to do that like go a month, but I realized recently I kind of need to wash my hair every week or every 2 weeks now. So I like brought it back down to what it was before my hair was super long. So I can go a large amount of time without washing my hair like a lot, but it has to do with my hair texture too. Like if you have straight hair, you need to wash it more frequently just because your hair is going to get more oily. If your hair, the more wavy and curly your hair is, it's actually better for you not to wash your hair as frequently. Although I'm a big advocate of rinsing out my roots. Okay. That is a game changer. I think the more you rinse your roots, the more you can get away with not washing your hair as frequently. So yeah, I'm not afraid if my hair gets wet in the shower, if I wear it up. I just wear it up in a braid because I don't want it to get completely tangled like when I wash it. That's all. But yeah, my hair will get wet like a lot. I'm not afraid of water making contact with my hair, but some people are like, oh, you could get hydro fatigue. But I'm like, I don't see how, because I think that's like if you're doing a lot of maybe things with your hair where it's like wet for hours on end. But I've never had that experience, but some people might. I don't really know what works for other people's hair. I just know what works for my hair. I can tell you what works for me. And I think somebody with a wavy hair like me, similar things might work for them. So I would say everything I do on my channel is going to work for people with probably like wavy hair that are Middle Eastern European mix. Like they're, because we're interesting. We're an interesting mixture. We're a mixy mix. Like there's something about us. A lot of us tend to have wavy hair, not exactly curly, but kind of wavy. And it just like certain things I do probably would work for people of a similar hair texture. But I don't think like the things I do are going to work for most people. Like I'm always going to say what works for me is not going to work for you, because I don't know. Like I kind of just had to figure out what worked for me, and everything that other people did never worked for me. Like my mom washes her hair every single day, and she said she had to, or it would get oily. Like that's literally what she said. But I can't do that. And I think like one of my sisters does too. Like she also washes her hair like every day, and her hair is straight, but she even flat irons it because she wants it straighter. But like, look, my hair is pretty wavy. But actually, my hair is wavier after I wash it. I love having long hair, and I miss having super long hair. But what I'm going to do differently is fewer henna treatments. Like I might occasionally do henna again, but I don't. Yeah, I think I was just doing it too much, and then that tangle experience kind of freaked me out. So if I do grow my hair longer again, I'm just going to be much more cautious about it. Like I was cautious before, but I'm not going to be doing as many henna things with it this time around. That's the difference. I don't think henna is completely bad. I just don't mix henna with conditioner, guys. Don't do it. And that scares me because there's like this thing on the internet that says you should mix henna with conditioner. And I'm like, oh no, don't do it. I can't believe that was one thing I was curious about, because I would try different things. And sometimes, but I'm not really upset about it because, okay, I'll tell you why. It would have been really cool to get to maybe floor length hair, but I was struggling a lot. I work all the time with the public, and my hair was like upper calf length. Okay. So one time I had my hair down in a braid, and I got down to pick up some books, and I ended up stamping on the ends of my hair, even though it wasn't a braid. And I was horrified. I was just so horrified. So then I started wearing my hair up in space buns more, and I was getting horrible, horrible headaches, like wearing a mask and space buns and glasses, because all this pressure was on my hair. And I always, like, if I wear my hair up for an extended amount of time, like at first it might be okay for like an hour or two, but after like 4 or 5 hours, I start getting a headache because I'm very tender headed. And then I was just pushing it out because like I would have that hairstyle in for like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 hours. If you're working and you're coming home and stuff, and you have your hair up and it's that heavy. And yeah, I was just getting so many headaches. So I can tell you one good thing about having slightly shorter hair. I haven't had a headache since then. And I mean, I haven't really been wearing my hair up either, but I think, yeah, wearing your hair up when it's that long for extended amounts of time, if you're tender headed, probably isn't good for you. If you're not tender headed, you probably can do it all the time. Like some people wear their hair up all the time. That's all they do. But I don't know. I just kind of like wearing my hair in braids. That was always my thing. And I felt like I had to start wearing my hair up more when it was getting longer, because I didn't want it to get in the way of things. But it wasn't really like how I like to wear my hair. Mostly just because it's pretty, but I don't like headaches. And I have a sister who loved to wear her hair up. I don't know why she cut her hair as short as she did. Like she had really beautiful waist length hair, but she has always done buns in her hair forever. And she did the most beautiful buns. And I would sometimes encourage her. Like I said, do you want to like show your hair on YouTube? Like we could make videos about your, and she was like, no. My family's very private. They hate social media. They hate YouTube. Like pretty much everybody in my life that's a close contact, they hate YouTube. They hate social media. They don't hate looking at it, but they will never be on it. They're like, why do you do that? Like they've always been like, actually, my mom, she wanted me to delete my YouTube channel. Well, she said the other channel was okay if I just did cooking or art, but anything hair related, she's like, I don't like that. Why do you do that? Like, she's like, oh my gosh. Like, she goes, I don't know. Do you really want to have videos like that? I'm like, it doesn't bother me, but I have a different personality than my mom. Even though I'm more introverted, I kind of like interacting with people. So I've always enjoyed having a YouTube channel. And I always did a blog, and I don't think she really understood. Like, I used to be a blogger. It was the same thing. The reason we kind of gravitated over to YouTube was, okay, a few years back, we used to write on the site called Hub Pages where you could write educational articles. And interestingly enough, one of the first articles I wrote on there was about long hair, even though my hair wasn't as long back then, because it was a big topic. And we just realized video was a bigger format. Okay. I still don't like how it's not smooth enough. Okay. I'm still working on getting this part of my hair as smooth as I want it. You know? I just want it to be really smooth when I start braiding it. So yeah, we just gravitated more over to doing YouTube after a while. So I like having super long hair, but I want to do it more on my own terms this time. Like the first time around when I had a YouTube channel, like people were like, do like hair flips. And I'm not saying I'll never do a video like that. Maybe I'll do a headbang video someday, but hair flips, I'm just like, I don't like it. That is not me. I don't go around flipping my hair. I just want to show how I do hair. And then they'd be like, but we want our hair flip. And I just like the guys that I know that genuinely like long hair in real life, they don't want to see women flipping their hair because they know that's not realistic. Like I actually have like men that are just supportive of women that want long hair. So it would just be like these guys that would ask for hair flip or hair over face or whatever they thought I should make a video about. I'm like, that's not what my channel is about. I'm not making videos just to, and there's nothing wrong with that if you want to do that. But like, I don't want to make 5,000 videos with hair over my face. I just don't see the point, you know? But I'm growing my hair longer, but it's because I love long hair. Like, I really love long hair. Like, I've always had a thing for long hair. And even though my hair wasn't as long when I was younger, it was long by mainstream society standards. Like, most people in mainstream society think anything beyond bra strap length is really long. Oh my gosh, I'm already up to 129 minutes. I didn't realize that. So yes, I do wash my hair more now than I did. But even like I always rinsed out my roots, so I never like covered my scalp or anything. So I don't know. I think that makes it easier. It makes it so you can go longer without having to constantly be washing your hair. But I think only people like with 2B to 2C hair texture. I guess mine's like a 2B. My hair, like there's like that chart, okay? And when my hair is washed, like freshly washed, that's the actual texture of my hair. Even like, okay, so when I comb out my hair and I braid it, even though it looks wavy when I take it out, actually, my hair is much wavier after I wash it because that's my real texture. Like my real texture is showing through. Because I feel like combing out your hair kind of straightens parts of it, even though it still looks wavy, if that makes any sense, you know? So my real texture is like 2B, 2C, I would say. Not 3. I'm not in the 3 realm, but I'm definitely in 2B to 2C. But it's like a combination 2B, 2C. Yeah, so I'm in the 2s, I would say. But that chart is really confusing because I feel like there's people, their hair does not fit in that chart. And I've heard people talk about that. So it's that chart's probably a good starting point. But like we have a lot of different hair textures sometimes within our hair. Like even people who have curly hair, I've heard some of them say like later in life their hair becomes more straight. And I've heard people say, okay, they had curly hair when they were younger, but they went on some sort of fertility treatment, like for conceiving a child, which straightened their hair. And I know that might sound weird, but yeah, I've heard people say that they used to have curly hair, but after maybe they took some sort of fertility treatment, like it made their hair straight or with other medications. So, and even environmental things can sometimes just change. Like basically, apparently, you should get a water filter for your shower. And I've thought about doing that actually. You know, I guess I could install it. Why not? Let's think about this. Are we going to install a new water shower head? Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. People do say it's better to have a certain type of shower head. I've heard about this because I know we have hard water in our area. There's a lot of calcium carbonate because if I were to fill up just a glass with water right now, the way you can tell if there's calcium carbonate in your water, and I already know we have it, it's just it has like a really cloudy look to it. It's just real chalky looking. But that's kind of, we have hard water in our area. I know that. And it's fun, like when you go to clean the shower and stuff. And apparently, hard water is not really ideal for your hair. So I've thought about getting, a shower filter, new shower head. But we'll see. There's a lot of things I think about doing. So here we are. We have 1, 2, 3 braids. 1, 2, 3 braids. See, 1, 2, and 3. Let me go take a look in the mirror to see what they look like. Okay. Now we get to do the braid within the braid. This will be fun. It's like a braid within a braid. I love doing 3 braids in a braid. I guess you could say it's a braid in a braid, but I actually just call it 3 braids in a braid because it's 3 braid. I usually just do it on one side of like one, like I'll wear a lower ponytail. But today I have the 2 pigtails with the scrunchies, and I'm doing the 3 braids in a braid. That's why it took me so long to braid those sections, man. It's a little bit more like time consuming, you know? I guess I could like spice hair tie. Just gently. I don't want any of the hair to get hurt in the hair tie. Okay, so this is the first half of it. I might undo the bottom portion. We'll see. This is the first half. I never wear my hair loose because it's just too stressful to your hair. And wearing your hair loose, yeah, no, because people like some people do that, but no, I don't. Maybe we need to like comb out this little section a bit. I did that before. I don't know if I'll ever do a bun drop again. I might. I've done a lot of bun drops, guys, though. If you go back on my channel, I've done several. So it's not that I've never done one. I just it's been done, like, right? Like, I don't know, like it's been done. I'm not saying I'll never do it again. I just it takes a lot to comb my hair up into like a bun. Like I have to do a lot of combing to get it to like where I want it to be, like in that kind of bun, the kind of bun that people associate with a bun drop. And then I don't really wear my hair in that kind of bun anyway. So I'm not saying I never will do it again. It's just when I did those videos before, it was because somebody asked me to do them. And it wasn't really how I wore my hair, you know? So I don't know. Maybe. Like when I did buns, I did braided buns, and then somebody told me, "Well, I don't like the braided bun. It has to be a loose bun." I'm like, I didn't know that there were all these rules. Like, there's just so many rules, and I'm just like, okay. I'm not saying I'll never do it. I just if I don't really wear my hair like that, it's just not very intuitive, and it's not really representative of like how I wear my hair most of the time. Like I'm trying a new braided style because I really love braids. I actually find like a lot of Indian people, they really like braids too. So I don't know, like braided styles, I mean, they're popular in the West too, but I just kind of like the braided styles. I think they're very cool. No, it's okay. I'm not saying I'll never do it. You can ask. That's cool. I'm not like anti, like, oh my God, you asked me a question. It's fine. Like, I just don't know if I will again because I feel like, oh, I did that before. And yeah, I don't know. I did it before. I'm not saying I'll never do it again. It just feels like it's been done. And lately, people are doing all sorts of bun drops that I don't understand, or they do this thing where they sneeze and their hair falls forward. But the thing I don't get about that is, does anybody really do that? And I don't know, something about sneezing and your hair falling forward, it feels kind of gross and unhygienic. And I don't really understand how that's trending. Like, why is that trending of all things? You don't really want to sneeze near your hair and have it fall forward. I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I don't really understand like why some things are trending. And I'm not really the best person to ask about like trying to understand it. I just don't really get it. But people like it. It's just kind of like, okay, you go on Facebook, which by the way, a lot of people don't love certain things, but I still have Facebook. But Facebook just, I don't know. Every time I go on there, people are posting like the same meme all the time. Like it's like I still see the same thing. And I joined Facebook years ago because I wanted to share my blog, but then I slowly realized that people don't go on Facebook to follow your blog or your YouTube. So like even people that were bloggers, like they would be using Facebook just to share a meme that was really popular, and then I would look like because I'd always be investigative. Like I have to backtrack. Like why is this thing trending? What is it about this thing that makes it trending? And there's always a reason. Things don't just trend because they're cool like that. There's always a reason why things trend. I'll be right back. A lot of times, the thing that's trending like a meme or like some other trending thing is because like some media outlet put it out to like to do a campaign for a certain product or service or even like a radio station. It's kind of funny. I don't know. I'm not against the hair fetish, but within reason. Like, okay, it's fine for people to have a hair fetish. It doesn't bother me. I'm very open minded about it. I really don't care. Do you, boo? But Where hair fetish gets weird is when like men specifically think that women want to like do certain things with their hair that we have no interest in doing with our hair. There are some women that want to do those things, but like when it gets to like, I just like having long hair. Like I just think long hair is beautiful. That's my opinion. So where people get upset about it, or like I totally get it, is like when men kind of think, oh yeah, women want to do this, this, and this with their hair, but not really. Like people want to do what they want with their hair. So it's fine having a hair fetish as long as you understand that the person who has long hair is an individual person with their own opinions on the subject. And as long as you respect them and you understand that they probably aren't interested in long hair for the reason that you're interested in long hair. You see what I'm saying? Just as long as you can differentiate, like, look, I don't really care personally, but as long as you understand, like, places like YouTube and Instagram are PG 13 at worst, and most people don't want to go into the adult side of that. There are sites that cater to that, and I think if, like, this is my opinion, I have nothing against it, but if men need like that certain element of that, they can go find a site that will cater for that need. But most people just on YouTube and Instagram, or I don't know, even TikTok, they're not really interested in the like X-rated version of it. We're not. Like, we don't, we just like long hair because it's pretty, okay? I love long hair. It's an expression of my femininity, and that's it for me. How you like long hair, that's up to you. But you need to respect them individuals and where they come from. I'm very open-minded about these things, and I'm not, well, let me just give you an example, okay? I rode public transit. I saw a homeless guy do things to himself, and some nurses scream at him, and he ran away and he kicked over trash cans. So I've seen a lot of things in my life, so I'm not shocked by it, but that doesn't mean I like certain things either. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not offended by things. I'm just not like, I'm just like, okay, as long as you're being respectful and you understand that probably most women aren't attracted to long hair in the same way that you are attracted. Like they like long hair, but not maybe for the reasons you like long hair. As long as you can differentiate that, I don't care. Now, if it gets into the realm of like you want like cutting, like hair cutting, I have a big problem with that. Like I think that that's a form of violence, actually. Like, because yeah, there have been cases where there were men that like committed acts of violence against women cutting their hair off in the streets and stuff, and it's documented throughout time, and I can't support that at all. And I think that's very problematic and kind of gross. Like the hair cutting fetish, I have a big problem with them. I think that they perpetuate violence against women. And I know people are like, no, they don't. I'm like, yes, they do, because women have had their hair forcibly cut off. And if you make some sort of a fantasy video about it, it's no, I don't like it. And I can't justify you. And I'm against that. So I don't have a problem with a hair fetish as long as you're respectful and you realize that YouTube is a PG space, and it's like you're supposed to be 13 to be on YouTube to begin with, okay? But here are the rules you should abide by on YouTube if you read their TOS. Whatever you post on YouTube is really supposed to be PG-13 audience, like appropriate for that. If it's something that is not appropriate for that audience, like if it's going into another realm, you need to find another place to post that content or to look for such content. That's where I differentiate, you know? So, well, yeah, but this is why I have to differentiate, because some people say I have a long hair fetish, and that's fine. But like the guys that are into the cutting of the hair, that's violence against women. I mean, some women probably do have a hair fetish too. I don't know. I assume, but I haven't really come across a woman. And honestly, like in real life, okay, I've talked to men who like long hair, who think long hair is pretty, but I've never actually met a man in person who has like a specific hair fetish. So I have nothing against it. I just haven't encountered it personally in my personal life. And I know people online have told me that they do, but yeah, when they start getting into like things that go beyond PG-13, I'm like, ugh, no. And I have long hair to take care of it. And some of the things that they think women want to do with their hair are like against like good hair care regime. Like why would I want to do that? No. Like I actually asked this one guy friend, I said, what do you think about this particular adult act that some people want to do with hair? And he said, wouldn't that ruin the hair? And I'm like, bingo. Okay. Because I'm not going to call people out, but there's a forum. It's an adult oriented one. I don't know how I came across this. Well, I'll tell you how I came across this. Somebody posted my video there years ago, and I had looked at it, and they said, what did they say? They said that they thought women with like floor length hair had men doing that to their hair. And I'm going to tell you, no, that's just a fantasy. You think people want that done to their hair, but nobody would, because in reality, that would ruin your hair. That would ruin your hair. That's not healthy for your hair. Nobody wants that, okay? It's into healthy hair care. Honesty. I'm always going to be honest with you guys. So you can have certain fantasy, but that's not reality. So fantasy's fine as long as you keep it in the realm of a certain like type of website with people that are interested in that. Now, when you go to YouTube, like, look, I'm very open-minded about these things. This is where I do have a problem with some guys. There are women that are younger than me. Okay. They haven't ridden public transportation. They haven't worked with the public. They haven't seen the things that I've seen, or they're more conservative. And you're like going onto their pages and they're assuming like that maybe you want a relationship with them, or that you want to do certain things with their hair. Like that is a violation of their trust. You don't have the right to do that. You don't, like, as a man, you don't have the right to do that. Like most guys that like long hair are totally respectful. I have no problem with most guys in the long hair that like long hair. Like I haven't really had general problems with you guys, but some of them do cross boundaries. And I'm just telling you right now, not everybody's tolerance level is going to be mine. Like I tend to be more of an open-minded person. Like what people want to do in their own free time doesn't bother me very much. But a lot of women don't like that. And they actually kind of talk bad about you guys on other forums because they're tired of that behavior. And I hope you know, okay, most women that show long hair, me included, we're not on YouTube because we're looking for a relationship. We're just not. Like I would never trust a guy on the internet that approaches me and says, I want a relationship with you. I wouldn't, because I know he's going to be chatting up lots of different women. And I'm not here, like, this is not a dating profile for me. It's just showing long hair. But I've had some men assume that because I show long hair, like, it's a dating site or something. And I don't know, like, they approach, like, messaging me like it's a dating site. And I'm just like, that is kind of weird, because no, nobody, like, is interested in that. Like, if you want to talk about long hair, I'm cool. I'll talk to a few people about long hair, but I've never like once like thought like I want to meet somebody online. Like, I just don't. Like, I just want to meet people in day-to-day life. Like, I'm very different in that way. My hair was never floor length. It was upper calf length. Like, if you look at my older videos, I said it would have been cool to have floor length hair. And there were people that had liked me having super long hair. But like I say, in general society, people, like, there were people that would marvel at it. I was starting to get stopped in the street a lot, actually. Most reactions were good. There was one time I wore my hair loose and the reaction was kind of more horrified than good. Like, oh my God, her hair's so long. Most reactions were good. Like, so I did get stopped a little bit more, I will say. Like, people would like marvel at the length of my hair. So it happened, but sometimes people were just like, why? Like, why do you want your hair so long? Like, why? What? Even my own family included, they're like, why is your hair so long? Doesn't that take up a lot of your time? Don't you want to do other things with your time than have long hair? I don't know. I like having long hair. It doesn't bother me. But I will say, like, yeah, sometimes, like, I probably would do more things sometimes. But, I like having long hair. I do. But it's not for everyone. But yeah, I like it. But yeah, it's all about boundaries too. You need to respect people's boundaries. Like, if you're a guy and you like long hair, it's fine if you just say that a woman has pretty long hair. But I think men need to be much more hesitant or selective about just messaging women, because like some of them do treat it like a dating site, and I think they think like it's one thing to admire a woman with long hair. And I think, okay, I think that's cool if you say, "Oh, I love your hair." I think that's really nice. I'm not going to be like, honestly, I'm not a feminist, okay? So I'm not going to be like, "Oh my god, oh, the patriarchy! You said I have long hair and it's pretty. How dare you?" I'm offended. No, I can accept a compliment. I'm not going to put you down. My opinion is the red pill dudes and the extreme third wave feminists should all get in a room and get jiggy, because they have so much in common with each other they don't even know. Like they both have the same talking points. I'm just like, you guys are the same people. You're just one's against men and one's against women. I'm like, you guys are the same thinkers. Like, you should be in a relationship together. Literally, I'm not one of those kind of people. I'm not going to get mad when somebody says, "Oh my gosh, I love long hair." Like, I'll just say thank you. I'm glad you like long hair, and it is pretty. And yeah, some women get mad if a man compliments a woman for having long hair. Like, I had someone come to my video just because this guy said he liked long hair, and she goes, "How dare you say women with long hair look pretty? You're offending me." And I'm like, "No, you're expressing a preference. Just like a woman could say, 'Oh, I like a man with six-pack abs.' And if some guy with a big beer belly came along and be like, 'How dare you? How dare you say that? You're offending me.' It would look really weird. Like, it'd be kind of strange, right? It'd be kind of weird. You guys would be thinking, this guy is really insecure. Like, compliments are cool. You're allowed to have a preference. I will support you. Like, this is a safe space. My channel is a safe space for anybody who's respectful, okay? I'm not going to judge you, but keep in mind what website you're on. You're not on some certain kind of website. And if you can't behave yourself, YouTube's going to censor you anyway, because their deletion comment box takes away a lot of your weirdo comments. Like, if you just can't control yourselves, YouTube's going to not let it be posted to the page anyway. So I don't know. Like, that's my response to that. So I have nothing against it. I do think that the long hair fetish can get unhealthy when it's onto the cutting side of it. It's very unhealthy because it perpetuates violence against women. Just look into it, research it. If you have an obsession with wanting to cut women's hair or see women's hair cut, I think you need to kind of ask yourself why you would do that to a woman or want to see that happen to a woman. Because if a woman spent all this time growing her hair and caring for it, why would she want to cut it for your gratification? No way, Jose. Can you think logically for a second and realize that's probably not healthy? So that aspect of a hair fetish is very unhealthy. Just like, well, there's other ones that get into whips and stuff that probably are unhealthy. And that's also why I didn't like the 50 Shades of Grey. Okay, when that was out, like, I thought that was really unhealthy, because who wants to be in some sort of sadomasochistic relationship where a guy tells them how to dress and what to eat and what to wear? And then, like, I didn't even know why people were reading that book. It was just, I tried to read some of it, like, when I was at the library, and I couldn't keep a straight face because the first part of the book was pretty bad. It was about some guy using GPS tracking software to find out where the woman was at a party. It was weird. And I'm just like, that's unhealthy. So you can have any fetish you want under the sun, but keep in mind what's YouTube appropriate and what can cross boundaries, and just be a common sense person. Like, don't go crazy, guys. Like, if you cross the line. I think when, okay? Like, just guys that go crazy with it. That's my response to that. So, like, sometimes I'm not going to be offended by things that other people might be offended by or they might not want to hear. Because to me, I'm just like, well, you can have your opinion. That's cool. Like there's certain things I like that I love. Like I love history. And a lot of people are like, oh, history's so boring. Or I like, certain kinds of food. Like I love to eat vegan food, but most people want to eat steaks or something and they dream of having a steak dinner and going to a barbecue. And I never liked barbecues. Like I think barbecues smell horrible. And I was telling somebody the other day actually, um, it's kind of cool when you walk into like a vegan restaurant because it doesn't have that smell, like the smell of meat, which just doesn't smell good to me. Like it actually just smells pleasant. And I'm just like, because this was the new thing. People were saying that they wanted to try like the Beyond Nuggets at KFC, but they were asking the restaurant to change the oil for the product. And I'm like, I don't even think I would order that. And here's the reason, because I don't know. I just don't want to deal with that personally. Like, I don't want to go to a fast food restaurant and change. Look, I'll take some stuff out of the fridge and I'll show you, like, there are, like, I've never even eaten real burgers, but you can get certain vegan mock meats and they're actually okay. They're not bad. Like, I eat relatively healthy. I'm healthy-ish. But if you're going to go vegan, it's okay to eat some processed mock meats. Like, they're not bad for you. Like, because they have protein in it and they're convenient. So for me as a working person, sometimes when I get really busy, I mean, I should make more smoothies, but if I get really busy, I'll make like a vegan burger and I'll eat it with avocado or ketchup on top. And yeah, I do feel like I want some protein and fat in my diet, not just carbs. So for me, like, I don't know, that's not a preference most people have. Most people don't want to just eat like vegan, and I don't expect them to. So I'm just saying, if that is your preference, like if you like something, just keep in mind maybe not everybody else likes it. That's all. Just be common sense about everything you do in life, I say, and you'll be fine. I think a common sense approach to anything, like if you think, how would others feel about this? I might like something, but if somebody else doesn't like it, maybe I shouldn't assume that they like it, kind of thing. That's all. So I think women that are a little bit older, okay, that are maybe more open minded don't have a problem with a hair fetish. And there are some younger women that don't either. But don't assume that every woman that has long hair is going to be reciprocating it. And most people that make long hair videos aren't into that. And personally, I don't have a hair fetish. Like a lot of guys have asked me, do you have a hair fetish? Like, do you have a fetish with hair? I'm like, absolutely not. It's not for me. Like, no, I don't. I just like long hair. I like to style long hair. It's an expression of my femininity. That's it. You know, I just like having long hair. It makes me feel happy. It actually makes me feel like myself. Having long hair is the largest, most grandiose expression of who I am as a woman and a human being. Like just profoundly, because for years, like I would kind of listen to like what other people would say about long hair and say you should cut your hair, you should have this style. I kind of succumbed to that for a while, and there's nothing wrong with cutting your hair if you want to. But I was never happy when my hair was shorter. It didn't make me feel happy. I just didn't feel like myself. And in general, I don't really ever want to go to a hair salon again. But I'll tell you, this is where it was a revelation. One day I went to the hair salon with my friend. She was just getting like a trendy haircut. And there was this woman with the most beautiful, like she had tailbone length hair to here. And she was just getting her hair trimmed. And she was standing up when they were doing it. Although my mom would always trim my hair for me. So I didn't really need to go to the salon back in the day. But now that we do more lockdown life, I actually had taught myself to trim my hair before that. I know how to cut my own hair. I learned how, like I taught myself about a decade ago. I just, it's something that I finally just said, you know what? I'm probably not ever going to find a hairstylist that makes me happy again. Like I had one for a while, like she was cool. And I think if you went to her, okay, and you had super long hair, I think she would just trim your hair. She was that kind of hairstylist. But the thing I didn't really like about going to the salon was even though she, if you asked her just to trim your hair, she definitely would do it. But she suggested like different cuts, like for me, and she'd be like, "Why don't you come like for such long periods of time?" Because I want to let my hair grow out. Because if you do like certain layered cuts, like they just take off too much hair, in my opinion. But if you had asked her, I know she would just trim your hair. Like there are some stylists that would not just trim your hair. Okay, they would take off a lot more. And then it got so expensive. Like they, at first when I used to go to her, the prices were reasonable, but towards the end, like I was paying like $100 something per visit. And it just was getting more. And like they had this chart, like they started like if you had like beyond shoulder length hair, that was considered long. And like with so many different inches, it was just more and more. And they would charge so much, just like it just didn't seem worth it to me. And I'm just like, I get it. It's their living. They need to make a living, but I don't, I don't know. I didn't want to pay that much money just to have my hair trimmed. And also I was to the point that I did not want to have layers in my hair. I was not happy with layers because I wanted my hair to be more thick at the bottom. And layers just made me feel really sad. Like, because the stylist would always be like, you need long layers because it makes your hair look squishy. But I didn't like wearing my hair loose anyway. Okay. I liked wearing my hair in a braid. And when you had layers, like the parts of the layers would stick out of the braid. And I just remember feeling like kind of unhappy about it and not enjoying it. So the last time I went to a hairstylist, it was that lady. She seemed like, she would be supportive. If I asked her just to trim my hair and she was my stylist today, I can tell you she would have just trimmed my hair. She was a very talented stylist, don't get me wrong. She was very talented, but I just also too, there's another thing about salons. They smell really bad to me. Like the chemicals that they use to dye people's hair, I'm kind of allergic to it. I don't like the smells. So like I would always feel kind of sick when I went to the salon or like when people go to nail salons. I don't like those smells. So for me, just not going to the salon is my preference. Like I'm DIY girl, okay? I am the DIY. Like I might not, like I did show a video where I trimmed my hair, but it wasn't really a tutorial. The funny thing is I probably could teach you. Like I probably am good at teaching about that really because I've done it for so long. Although some people might say, well, that works for you and not for me. So that's where I'm hesitant to do that. And I just present it as this is what works for me and maybe not for you because I don't ever want somebody to be like, but this worked for you and this doesn't work for me. So that's kind of my take on it, where I'm just more cautious. Like I don't want to present something ever in a way that somebody doesn't find it helpful. And they're like, but you said this was helpful. So for me, I just try to make everything on my channel. This is what I do. You don't have to do it, but this is what I do kind of thing, That's kind of my take. Yes, I cut my own hair. Every haircut I've done on my channel in the last 5 years is me. I do it all myself. Yes, I do. I do all my own hair cutting. I know how to do it. I mean, I can draw. I'm a pretty good little artist. I have enough dexterity with my hands that I can do things like that. So yeah, I feel confident in it. My sister too, like she could have cut her own hair. But here's the thing, when you're cutting your own hair, it's not going to be as fast as the salon sometimes because you want to take your time and make sure you do it right. So yeah, I'll do it myself, but I don't rush. It takes me a while. But I would say most of the YouTubers you see when they show how they cut their hair, they do the same thing. You spend a little bit of time doing it. You know? I might have to retitle this video after I'm done because I wasn't really sure exactly what kind of a hairstyle. I thought about this hairstyle, but I decided to do it, so maybe I will retitle it when I'm done. Shall see. My sister did cut my hair, but here was the problem. When my hair was really short, it was super thick, and she said it was too hard because actually you're supposed to do hair in sections. She's not a hairstylist, and she ended up cutting off way more than I wanted. So even then, if it was a family member, the only person I would trust to trim my hair would be my mother. But you know, she did it like 5 years ago for me one time, I think. But by then, I could kind of trim my own hair, so it's not too hard. And I think the results are actually good if you do it yourself. You just have to practice, but you need to be more conservative in the practice of trimming and cutting your own hair than you would be in okay. So here are the final braids. Oh no. We're gonna have to redo that because part of the hair got left behind. Oh no. Okay. Not a problem. I'll just incorporate it in. I didn't realize that part got left behind. Now I feel sad. Man, that's why sometimes it's easier to do this with a mirror. Doing this in a live stream format doesn't really exactly work so well completely. Yeah, that's why sometimes I need to have a mirror so I can really, really see what I'm doing. I'll probably need to go look in the mirror at the very beginning as I redo it just to make sure 120%. Because this will shrink all behind. I'm sorry, mister. I did not mean to leave you behind. That wasn't my intention. Okay. So I kind of looked in the mirror just so I can make sure I like it. And the mirror's in the other room, so I do. Well, I thought about getting a bigger mirror in here, but I haven't. something that let's try to incorporate you in, mister. Try and reincorporate all the braids. It's kind of like an unincorporated city, but it's an unincorporated strand of hair. I have a silly sense of humor. Nobody understands it but me, really. Well, some people do, but when I mean nobody, I mean in general. On NRL, be careful, be gentle, be gentle. This time I think that I probably need to do something or other with my hair. I need to look in a mirror before I start these hairdos. Just kind of winging it, a little bit. Too much for me anyway. Or I need to buy the baby scrunchies. Because apparently, that would be better for my ends, I think. Well, definitely, I think so. But, I never did buy the little scrunchies yet for the ends of my hair. I'm going to do these kind of braids. Okay. So that's how it looks. That's how it turned out. So it's a double braid, but it's 3 braids in a braid. 3 braids in a braid. Let's read some comments. So you say, oh, thank you. That is so nice of you. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice of you. So let me show you the final result. Here's the final result. Okay, so Alma to weld. The one expression I know in Arabic because my Arabic's so not very there. I only know a few words, but I always love that expression because my grandpa said it means good health and good life. Like we would say it to you on your birthday, but I'm like, why can't you just say it whenever? That's what I think. That's what we thought. And my dad would say last time I saw him, Alma to weld. And I'm like, yes, Alma to weld and good luck, and good health, and good life to everybody. Have a good night. Okay, so we are going to end little streamy weenie